Hello and welcome to Reflections. I am Ron Gayoso, your host. Today, our topic is business education and training. We're speaking with Deb Dietz, CEO of SMB Digital Education. So, first and foremost, thank you so very much for your being here with me and my guest today. I know your time is very important, and I am the guy who makes sure it is invested wisely. Business education and training is a lifelong learning proposition. In order to be successful in business and to ensure our ventures, go well, entrepreneurs need to focus on seeking knowledge, acquiring new skills, and discovering new techniques. And for that, training is an imperative. In today's show, we welcome the CEO of SMB Digital Education, who will go over the latest course editions and training opportunities. So stay tuned. And remember, if you're watching this show via Futures Television, the home of the future on television, or listen to the show via podcast, you too can be part of the conversation. Please join us in our YouTube channel, and that is IMCI Magazine, where we continue to chat about the topic of today. So let's get going, and I will say a few words about my guest today. All righty. My guest today is Deb Dietz, CEO of SMB Digital Education, parent company of SMB Digital Courses. She is the star of Ask Deb About Business, a business variety show that runs on Futures Television every other Thursday, 11 a.m. Central. You can find the show via Futures Television on Apple TV and on Roku TV. She is the star of Ask Deb About Health, a health and wellness variety show that runs on FuturesNetwork.tv, on Roku TV, on Apple and on Android phones. Please check the Apple Store or Google Play to download the app. She will also be on the Metaverse via FuturesNetwork.tv in the Oculus. She is the co-chair of the VC Latinx and VC Europex conferences, also chair of the upcoming VC APAX conference. So, folks, without further ado, let's welcome Deb to the show. How are you doing today, Deb?
Good, Ram. How are you? Great to see you.
How wonderful to see. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. And you have so many news today. I can't wait to get started.
Wonderful. It's a very exciting time for us. Certainly been hard at work building courses and happy to talk about it today.
Well, Deb, you dedicated 2 decades to training, education, and business formation. You are launching 19 new courses today. So what motivated you to add so many new courses? I can't wait to hear all about them.
Oh, thank you for the question, Ram. It's interesting that this journey of online training began, for me, a long time ago. And I started my company about 9 years ago. And when I formed my own company, it was a management consulting company. And so what I found is that when the COVID pandemic hit, me, like many other business owners, had to maybe pivot their business model a little bit because I was doing consulting work, traveling, meeting with clients, facilitating, strategic planning sessions. And a lot of my expertise was in strategic planning. But with the pandemic, I was no longer able to travel, be in front of clients. And so I had to, think about how I could reinvent myself actually, and maintain my business. So I literally taught myself how to build my own course, online training course in strategic planning, which is my area of expertise. So I taught myself how to do that. I learned the technology and then what I found by doing so, I had others ask me to help them do the same because very similar to my circumstance, many other coaches and consultants were facing a similar situation where they maybe saw a reduction in their operating revenue because they couldn't be in front of clients. So we thought, okay, here's an opportunity to leverage technology and be able to help people take their intellectual property, their expertise, and find a way to monetize it. And so that's kind of how this really started. It started really long, kind of before the pandemic, where I was involved with developing training courses, not necessarily online, but in-person training courses. But the pandemic really opened up an opportunity to leverage technology. And so I did it for myself and learned how to do it. And then, learned what some of the best practices were. And then I found other coaches and consultants asked me to help them as well. And then with the formation of our global educational conferences, the VC series of conferences, VC Latinx, Europe X, Asia Pacific X, and the Middle East and Africa X conferences, we were meeting all these brilliant people in many different business management, health, and wellness topic areas. And so when we started to develop the agenda for our conferences, many of these experts were book authors. They were subject matter experts in their field. So this also provided an opportunity for them to create an online training course so that they could come to the conference as a speaker and speak on that topic. But then they would also have an opportunity to have an online training course, which teaches entrepreneurs and business owners the how-tos, the step-by-step implementation of what they're learning from those experts. And so this started to really kind of, it became an opportunity for these experts to leverage their intellectual property and find a new way of creating revenue for themselves.
Wonderful. And what I really like about your courses is you take the time to give precise instructions, step-by-step approach, and holding hand, because I'm one of those who I really need someone to hold my hand and walk me through new skills. New skills are always fun. Education is wonderful, but of course, we all learn at different paces. So I love the idea of the online training courses. So, folks, let's make sure. So, this is on smbdigitalcourses.com, and we're going to start taking a look. So, Deb, how about we go visit that page and see what's up there?
Absolutely.
Okay, folks. So this is the landing page. This is SMB Digital Education Courses.com. Of course, you can see the link is here, and the link will be on the description section of this video. So I just arrived at the landing page, and I'm gonna just scroll down and see what's available. Wow. So let's take a look. I'm just gonna start with a quick glance, and then Deb, will kind of go back and ask you a couple of questions. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Sounds great.
Fine. So I see some familiar faces, some of the people who presented at the conferences. I see Max Lambright with leadership. Oh, I see Alicia. Alicia is one of the most well-known futurists in Mexico. Oh, I see myself. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my work on. I really love storytelling. I'm very passionate about this topic. And that's the reason why I met you, was your strategic planning course. And then I invited you for an interview. So I can't wait to see your course and what you're going to be talking about here. Oh, wow, wonderful. Kevin, so the Balance CEO, he's a speaker at our conferences, the Entrepreneur Operating System. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Oh, yes, Jen Nash, she does a fantastic job with financing. We have Martin Schwirm with Weak Signals, and he's a book author, and he's also a guest at IMCI Magazine. He always writes good content.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow, Tiffany Lester, the Empowered Mind. She's a wonderful coach, and we all need that kind of a mindset preparation as well. And oh yes, social media marketing strategy. You can't go without that. Oh yes, Chella's fantastic. The pricing queen.
Oh yes.
She tells us all about pricing. Yes, Katrina Hansen Carlson, the Entrepreneur Blueprint. Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. Folks, I had the opportunity, to work with Deb in several of those interviews, and those people are amazing. When she says, "Oh, I have some great people," yes, indeed, she does. They are absolutely amazing. And Deb, you run several of the conferences, and I realize we're going to talk in more detail. But I love the idea that you brought Sylvia in because we can all do better in terms of how we invest our time and going. Now we are all going back to events and conferences. So why not learn from the experts on how to take advantage of that? So I love this one. And then we get to SMB Digital Education is not just the business side. There's the health and wellness, and there are several courses there. So pregnancy to parenting, we're going to talk a little bit more about them. But I just love the concept, helping young women and women who are pregnant or about to be pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant, getting a start or leg up on getting all this information put together. Deb, you did such a fantastic job on putting this wonderful collection. And then, of course, we'll save this surprise to the end. So, Deb, where should we start at the beginning? I'm gonna.
Start at the beginning. I think Max Lambright is the first presented here. Max has built a course called The CEO's Roadmap to Creating a World-Class Company. And Max is an 8-time CEO, so he knows kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly of that key leadership role in the organizations that he's led. And so the thing that I really like about what we've done here is there's so much to learn from these experts. And I think it's really important for everybody to understand that these are people who have been in the trenches, who have been in these roles, they're practitioners in these areas. So they're not talking in terms of theory and conceptual. They're talking in terms of pragmatic experience and years of experience. And Max really represents that very well. He's been a CEO 8 different times. He's done it across many different industry verticals. He's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so what we've done here, and one of the things that we focused on, is we wanted to, because there are so many entrepreneurs in the world, there are millions of entrepreneurs, hanging out their shingle every year. We wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to provide fundamental education, because a lot of these new entrepreneurs, they're experts in their field. They may be, I call it the butcher, baker, or candlestick maker. They're an expert in their field. They may not necessarily have business fundamentals, business management fundamentals. So we wanted to take those key learnings from these experts and create online training courses that would provide them with exactly what they need to know, the step-by-step instruction. And so it was really kind of interesting, Ram, when you and I started planning the conferences, the global conferences, we came up with the model of the conferences being that a lot of these experts have an opportunity to speak to our global audience of entrepreneurs. So that became the first pillar of education, was the free conferences. These incredibly smart people are willing and gracious to take their time to present their information, their knowledge, share their knowledge to those that are interested in that topic, and that we provided that education in a free environment. But then there are going to be those entrepreneurs who need to learn the skills to implement and execute. So getting the general understanding through attending the conferences was one pillar of the conference. But then the online training became very, very important, because people need to learn the how to implement, how to execute. Concepts are great, learning is great, but if you don't know how to implement it and get the traction that you need, start to see the results that you're planning for, then, we wanted to make sure that we were able to provide that instruction. And so the courses became these 4-hour blocks of training, step-by-step instruction. And then, to your point, when you did the introduction to today's show, understanding the business fundamentals, critically important for any business owner, certainly. But but business owners are also human beings, and so we were really thinking about, yes, we want to provide the business instruction, the fundamental knowledge, but we also want to be mindful of the health and wellness of the people that we're serving in the community. And so, so then that started to, and now you're starting to see some of the courses that are coming in. Certainly many of them are business oriented, but there are many that are health and wellness related, and more are coming, because we want to be able to serve, the entire human being, both from a business perspective, and make sure that they are taking good care of themselves, and that they, are mindful of, they need to be well, they need to be able to lead effectively, as well as take care of themselves and their families. So it started to kind of expand from just business focus to business health and wellness. And then we brought in people to speak and teach on those health and wellness topics. And that became kind of, a lot of the people that I've created courses are coaches. So coaching became the third pillar of the conferences, so that you're not going through this journey, this entrepreneurial journey alone, that you are surrounded by people that are your advocates and that can support you in this journey. And then, of course, there's a community, and throughout our ability to create the conferences and that experience, that learning and training experience, is we've gathered, over 13,000 people in our conference community who are all gathering together to learn from these experts and take their training. And so it's become kind of this labor of love. And I'm very, very excited that we've been able to bring forth, this kind of training. It's very digestible. There are 4 hours of training in each course. Max, is here with his training, exactly what you need to know to build, a world-class organization. What does that look like? Because we're all looking to craft a vision for where we want our company to, what are we looking our company to be at some point in the future? And what does that roadmap need to look like to achieve that? And here's Max's syllabus. So you can see, the titles of there are 4 modules in his course. Each module has 4 15-minute lessons. So the modules are an hour long. And so there are 4 hours of training here. Max, certainly the CEO's roadmap to building a world-class organization. He's going to teach you exactly what you need to know, the practical guidance, practical instruction, best practices all the way through.
Wonderful. You know what? How to become the chief growth officer for your business. I'm interested in that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're the chief growth officer, and they wear that hat. And his instruction is very specific, and I think will be very helpful to a lot of people. And again, it's step by step. So this is another reason why we're really proud of the courses that we've created with these experts, because they will literally walk you through it. And Max as well. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You follow that step-by-step instruction, and that is how you get traction and achieve the results you're planning for.
Wonderful. So folks, I'm just gonna do here is I'm gonna be just clicking through. I'm starting at the landing page, and I'm clicking at the pictures of each one of the courses. So I guess I'm gonna take the lead on this specific page. So Alicia Montero Bueno is just great, they're really, really wonderful. There's a course in Spanish for a Spanish speaking audience out there. So thank you so much, Deb. This is absolutely wonderful. Folks, for those who are not Spanish speakers, there's a wealth of knowledge in here, brought to you by one of the most famous futurists in all of Mexico. So, in her course, you have a lot of stuff to learn. So basically, it's how to use futures design techniques and apply them to our own personal lives. So sign me up. I really love this idea.
This was a fun course to develop with her. It's just so interesting that there is a process that you can go through, and she has articulated this beautiful process that can help you plan for the life that you aspire for yourself and your family. So I highly encourage everybody to take a look at it.
Yeah, I really like the idea of using futures in futures techniques to basically improve our own lives. This is amazing. So let me go back. So folks, because of technicalities on the software, I have to go in and out every time we talk. And again, Deb, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit about my own work.
Absolutely, Rob. No, I appreciate the work that you put into your course. Scenario planning for action. With a real focus on storytelling, and you've got a case study in here on car electrification, which I think is fascinating. So again, step by step, your guidance, your instruction. Very informative, but again, the how can people actually become more effective storytellers? And because storytelling, we need to all be creating good stories, right? But stories that sell. And so that's really your focus here of how to actually do that. And that's what I love about your course.
Thank you. And folks, if you think you cannot create good stories, think again. I will work with you step by step using storytelling techniques to help you create your own narratives and show you a scenario planning method to support your competitive intelligence efforts. So yes, you will create your own narratives in Deb's words, stories that sell. So the course is structured the same way. So there's a little bit of an introduction here. There's a course syllabus, and Deb already mentioned a couple of the things that we're going to be doing there. And then when you get to the meet the presenter or the course instructor, there's a short video in there. So they're all structured in the same way, basically to facilitate. But hey, wait, there's a lot more for us to see here. And of course, there is the reason why I met Deb here. It is the strategic planning course. So Deb, tell us a little bit about this course. And
Absolutely.
what do we learn when we take this course?
Well, thank you for that. It's again, this is my area of expertise, and been working in strategic planning for many years, and started my company 9 years ago as a management consulting firm with a specialty in strategic planning. And so this is something that's very meaningful. I'm someone who grew up in corporate America, so I worked for top Fortune corporations, learning a lot of the the methodologies of planning. And so what I've done here, because I'm also, a business owner, and I've worked with certainly in corporate environments, but also small to mid-size companies, and of course named my company SMB Value Partners for small to mid-size firms. So what I've done here is taken some of all the best practices of the things that I've learned in my career, very similar to many of our contributors, including yourself, taking these years of experience and put together an online training course with just exactly those key components, the things you really need to know. Because, I sort of, joke a little bit about sometimes, and I've been in the room facilitating these meetings at, executive offsites and done them for years. And the output of a lot of that work are strategic plans that are very long narratives with charts and graphs, and they go in a binder and they get put in a file cabinet, and nobody really looks at it again until the next year when you go through the cycle again, the annual planning cycle. So I thought there's got to be a better way to have a strategic plan work for the company, that where every employee of the organization is grounded in the strategy, because every employee comes to work every day. They want to know that the work that they do matters to the company, matters to their employer, why they're valued as an employee, why they're in the job, why their skills and talents matter. And so it's a way of crafting a strategic plan for the business that ensures cohesiveness and alignment across the entire organization. So across a department as well as down through each individual employee. So it's a way of pragmatic planning, so that every employee, when they come into work, they know exactly what the job is that they're doing, how it supports the business vision, mission, and key objectives. And so that's how they get that sense of belonging. Very, very important. Why? Because the employees, the staff, the team are those that are actually implementing that strategy. So I talk about how to go through the planning process, and that the planning process is not necessarily, the executive leadership, members of the board, and where that plan is pushed down into the organization, a top-down approach. That's not what this is. This is about ensuring that all departments, all functional areas of the business have a voice. They are able to have a seat at the table when it comes to providing input into the planning process. So I set up, what does that need to look like? How do you actually gather your team? How you need to plan. So I instruct on what that process looks like, help you walk through the actual plan creation process, and then ensure accountability so that people understand certainly what the business strategy is, the role they play, but also how they're going to be held accountable. And if we're able to do that, then you can actually get the traction and see the results that you desire. So the output of this process is a strategic plan. It's not a long narrative in a binder collecting dust. It's it could be one-page piece of paper. It could be an 11 by 17 folded in half. So that's kind of an 8.5 by 11. But this is a strategic plan that is, people can look at it, and every employee should have a copy of it so that they see, and then the work that they're doing, how it supports the business. And that is it's a beautiful way of planning. It makes it actionable. Everybody's aligned to the plan, and it's working for the organization. And so that is ultimately the goal here.
Wonderful. It's very comprehensive. You even addressed the balance scorecard here. So this is beautiful resource.
Thank you. That is the plan. The balance scorecard is the plan. So it's, so you're planning from a financial point of view, certainly, but you're also planning at the customer level, the operations, the process and operations level, and also at the employee level. So the thinking here, instead of a top-down planning approach, is this: that if you have the right employees with the right skill sets, skills and talents and competencies, and that you have the right internal processes and operations, so you have an efficient operational infrastructure, you have the right focus on your customers with the right value, products and services, that those three perspectives will drive the financial results of the organization. So instead of a top-down view from leadership and pushing it down into the organization, it's really more of a bottom-up planning approach, and it makes the plan actionable, accountable, and then the annual planning process. And then I think the last set of lessons in the last module are all about quarterly planning, doing quarterly business reviews, because things are changing in the world and the environment that we're serving. There are, changes in the economy and what's going on with government regulation and, conflict and what's going on in the competitive, landscape. So it's a way of planning initially on an annual basis, but then replanning every quarter as you're getting new insights coming from that external environment. So it's also kind of interesting, because I know a lot of the work that you do in the world of intelligence, the field of intelligence, this is really, really important. So we're gathering business intelligence, competitive intelligence, and using that every quarter to update the plan. So it really works for you.
Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about Kevin's work. So that's The Balanced CEO by Kevin Suboski. So Deb, what do we learn in this course?
This is really interesting. And talking with Kevin, Kevin is an EOS expert, entrepreneurial operating system expert. And so he's worked with very large corporations, but he's also worked with a lot of small organizations, even solopreneurs. And so when we were planning, talking about Kevin's course, and how he came, the name of the Balanced CEO and why he chose that as a name for the course was kind of the topic at the beginning of our session, our show today, Ram, was about, you have to have the business skills, business acumen in order to be an effective business leader, certainly. But you also have to be mindful of, the kind of the health and wellness aspects because you're leading people. You may start out as a solopreneur, but as your business grows and you add team members, you're leading. And you have to have some soft skills to balance the hard business skills. And so when we were talking about his course, and Kevin, when he works with his clients, he's really educating them certainly about the business acumen, what you need to know from a business point of view to be an effective CEO. But you also have to be a leader. And you have to manage people. And so those soft skills are critically important. And so that is what his course is. He really helps you with those, to develop those business skills, the hard skills, but he's also helping you with, developing, what do you want for your life? What is the vision you have for yourself and your life and your family, and how does all this play together, and how do you balance all that? And so I think that's that very powerful course here.
Yeah, so folks, if you keep scrolling down, you're gonna find, the meeting structures or a short introduction, and then there's a video intro here where you can hear a very special message that Kevin created just for you.
That's right.
All righty. So I really love the fact that he takes the time to instruct and share perspectives, and I think the idea of having those introductions in there was just lovely. I
Well,
really
thank
like.
you. Yeah, it's interesting because, of course, and these are. It's just a way for that expert to say hello and introduce themselves and share a little bit about themselves and what their course is about. And so we thought the video had a good impact in helping us do that.
Cool. So that create lasting financial strength and confidence. Unlock your power
Wow.
with Jen Ash. So what do we learn in this course?
So Jen is a financial literacy expert. She works with people, helping them develop strong financial habits. She's got a really interesting personal story. She shares that about herself in her videos that you'll see here about how to improve your financial habits. And she's like an expert when it comes to budgeting. And it's really interesting when we were building her course. I have to just say that there were so many testimonials that came from her, the people that she's helped along the way, that were incredibly compelling. And we actually put all the testimonials inside her course. So it's just the impact that she's had in helping people kind of maneuver and navigate out of some dire financial situations. She's got some real practical, again, this is what I love about the courses that we've created here, our practical guidance. And she's done it certainly for herself and her own personal circumstances, which she shares here, her story, but then the impact that she's had working with her clients. And some of the stories are, just incredibly compelling. And so I wanted to make sure we had all her testimonials included here so people can see exactly the impact that she's having.
Yeah, and you know what? We can all do better in terms of managing our finances and making sure the financial house is in order. So we are going to change subjects a little bit, and we're going to talk about how to spot signals of change and manage uncertainty. So Martin Schwirm, folks, and that's his course, and he's a frequent contributor. He has a column at AMCI Magazine, and Deb, you had a wonderful session at VC Europex with him, a roundtable about the industrial metaverse. Actually, let me get some juice out of this interview. Are you planning to bring him back for the next conference, and we're going to continue to talk about the metaverse and
Absolutely.
technology?
And you bet. And part of our plans for the future here include instructing in virtual reality and instructing in 3D. And so that is the development of SMB Digital Education's the Academy in the Metaverse. And so Martin's been very instrumental in helping us kind of navigate that terrain. And this was a very interesting conversation about the industrial metaverse and some best practices to think about how to just get a handle on that environment and internalize it so that you can put a plan together. And we've literally done just that by listening to Martin's counsel and determining how we as online educators can leverage the technology and bring it to those in out there in the world who have ocular devices, because there are over 170 million people that have the devices and that they have an interest in learning in virtual reality. And so we're going to be conducting a series of master classes in virtual reality, and very, very excited about that with that launch, which will be coming up very soon.
Wonderful. And I really like the fact that you talk about not just the aspects, the business aspects, entrepreneurship aspects, but the whole person. So folks, we're changing subjects here, the empowered mind with Tiffany Lester. So what do we learn in this course, Deb?
Tiffany is really it's just so interesting. She's instructing here on mindset mastery, and that she sometimes you have to kind of get out of your own way. You know what I mean? It's you have to have the right mindset to be a successful entrepreneur, successful business owner. So she's instructing on things like emotional intelligence and empathy and kindness and generosity, and she's got actual rituals that she has inside her lessons, where she's actually walking you through sessions, mindset sessions. And so, even things like meditation and being good to yourself and calming yourself and being mindful of others. And so it's kind of comes back to this balance of business, health, and wellness. We need all of that to be effective, to be
person.
right. That be the whole. We are addressing the needs of the entire human. And I think even on the landing page of the SMB website, we say that, we're really, the business instruction is certainly for those business professionals who want to learn about business. But we're really, we're serving the entire human being here. And so we've got these wonderful experts in these non-business areas, health and wellness, which just, really, blends together in a beautiful way. And mindfulness and mindfulness mastery is something that, and I will be the first one to admit that there are a lot of what she built in her course. These are things that I've heard the term before, but I really didn't have a good understanding myself of what that really meant, or how you actually go through kind of getting having the right, frame of mind. And I found it very, very powerful. And so I'm delighted to have Tiffany part of our course contributor family.
Well, the idea of creating healthy boundaries, we all need that. But when I look at positive body language, I know someone else who does a very good job at that. You have to promise, you have to bring Catherine Jones here, because she is absolutely impactful. And folks, don't forget, the instructors have created specific messages just for you. So make sure that you take the time to visit the page and hear their messages. So I just wanted to change subjects again, and actually you have a different course in there, and I found that to be just really amazing. So let's think about mapping your social media marketing strategies here with Vanessa Cabrera. So what do we learn in this course?
So, Vanessa is she's a social media marketing expert. And when I say that, I really mean that, in that her clients, the people that she's working with in her coaching community, are experiencing incredible results leveraging social media marketing. So many of her clients are earning 5-figure months by implementing her strategies. So what she's done here is she's created an online training course that is basically the steps that she takes when she's working with her clients, one-on-one. So it's a way of, again, it's step by step by step. And if you follow her, her instruction, you can achieve the results that a lot of her clients are achieving today. And so that is something that is incredibly powerful. So when you land here, when you come into the website and you hear her message here, the video that we've put here on this landing page is her sharing some of the successes that she's had. Her clients are experiencing leveraging this training. And so again, very, very powerful. And I'll tell you, because social media marketing can be a daunting task for a lot of people. And if you're a small business owner, right, you only have so much time available to you and so many financial resources available to you. So she tells you exactly what you need to do. You don't need to be on, 10 or 12 or 15 different platforms. Pick one, and put your strategy together, and consistency counts. So she talks about how to create sales out of followers, so you want to generate awareness about your brand and the value that you provide. You want to get people to follow you, but then you need to convert those followers into clients and in this case, course purchasers. And she tells you, and she walks you through exactly how she's done it and how her clients have had success. So it's very, very impactful, and it's really a great topic.
Very well-rounded package. But you know what? The next one, time to charge your value with Chela Diaz. Every time I watch her, I learn something new. So what do we learn in this course?
So interesting. Chela's. I love what she's instructing here on about, never miss an opportunity to, you don't want to leave money on the table, right? So that, many of us, pricing is something that be a very daunting exercise for a lot of business owners. And are you pricing effectively? And she kind of walks you through some of the, the guidelines to follow, and to align your value to the economic value of your products or your service, and in the research you need to do to have an understanding of what's going on I call it outside of the four walls of your business, what's going on in the industry that you're serving, your competition. She does talk a lot here too about promoting yourself, increasing, your brand awareness, because a lot of people that are starting out as business owners, as entrepreneurs, and there are many that follow us, right? And a lot of them are just starting out. So you have to go through the process of creating awareness about your brand. So you have to get people to kind of come in and follow you and like you. But over time, you need to be consistent with your message, with communicating your value, and ultimately understand how your value serves that need, and the understanding those pain points. And if you do that well, and then you understand really what the true economic value is of that product or service, then you won't leave money on the table. And she has a process to help you do that.
Wonderful. I really think that is kind of important, and
Yeah.
she does a great job of helping us think through, this businesses, pricing as a biofeedback loop, help us
Absolutely.
with our pricing,
It's
how to.
interesting too, because she also talks about how, growing up as children, how, the money conversations that we heard when we were growing up at home, influences us as adults, influences us as entrepreneurs and business owners. And so, so it's kind of interesting. She kind of takes you back to the conversations that were had around the dinner table or whatever at home, and as a young person, and how that impacts you as an adult. And it could be, a good thing or not. And so, but she's raising awareness about those conversations. And she's also got some insight in there about mindfulness as well.
Wonderful. So next here we have Find Your Unique Entrepreneurial Business Blueprints to Success with Katarina Hansen Carlson. Deb, what do we learn in this course?
Katarina I love her, the entrepreneurial blueprint for success. And so she, walks us through the entrepreneurial journey and helps us kind of, it's really kind of a deep dive into yourself personally, and understanding, your value, your competence, your brilliance. So she talks a lot about, who you are, what your area of expertise is, how you can kind of leverage that to create a life that you want. And so it's just this very mindful, thoughtful, planning approach that she takes that I think is very, very important. And so she talks about your business identity. One thing I loved her module, and we've heard the term set your inner saboteur, that, you could have the best plan in the world, but, if you're self-sabotaging yourself and not even aware that you're doing it. And she brings that forward so that you know what to look for. Be mindful of how you may be thwarting your progress, and exercises that you go through to help you prevent yourself from doing that. I love that module.
Yeah, I really like the idea of the inner saboteur, and how to deal with that one. That's interesting. And then I really love the next course you have here. So let's transition to how to attend events with intention and Purpose by Sylvia Henderson. Folks, we all attend events, so let's not leave anything at the table. Deb, what do we learn in this course?
This Sylvia's course is all about using your time wisely, right? And so we are all as entrepreneurs, we spend a lot of time in meetings, we're networking, we're attending events, either on-site events or virtual events. And she is instructing here on how to get the most from that. So she's got her first module here is, okay, you found an event that you're interested in attending. Why, and start asking yourself some questions about why this is an event that's worth your time. And she helps you literally plan to attend that event. What are your key objectives? What are how are you plan to, identify good contacts, people that you want to connect with afterwards. And she literally walks you through how to get the most out of it, because this is an investment of your time, and it could be in a financial investment if you're actually physically going to a conference, but making sure that you're doing the pre-planning work before you go, and then while you're there, the actions that you need to take. And then, at the end of every day, you're taking 15 to summarize, what you learned, who you met, and then putting together kind of that follow-up after the event strategy, so that you are actually making that conference or that event work for you. You're coming out of that with some good quality leads, and you're kind of, really focusing on that, what the next steps look like. You don't want to come out of there with, 500 leads, but maybe you come out of there with 5 or 10 good leads. How do you do that? How do you plan for that? And how do you execute that when you're home? And so she walks you through literally step by step how to do that. And she's got all kinds of tools and worksheets and resources to help you do that.
Wonderful. And folks, don't forget, when you go to the Meet Instructor and you click on the welcome video, I really love her approach in terms of not just return on investment, but return on idea. How about that? That was just something incredible that, Sylvia comes up with the most incredible things.
She does. It's interesting because, right, and we talk about not all ideas are created equal, right? So you have to really be focused on, which ones are truly meaningful to you. And the rest maybe is just noise and you push it aside, but really focus on those ideas where you feel you can have a great impact, or where there's alignment with what you're providing, with the service you're providing. So I again, very, very powerful. She's got a really great experience. And it's really a very powerful course.
Wonderful. So folks, we're going to switch gears here, and we're going to talk a little bit about, life skills. And there are several courses in there, in pregnancy to parenting, raising confident parents. So Deb, this is just amazing, right? This is a stellar course.
Thank you.
So folks, I just click on the picture, and I got into the first of the pregnancy courses. So Deb, what inspired you to put together a pregnancy course?
It's interesting that this is, pregnancy and parenting. Parenting is a journey, and so from the minute your pregnancy test turns blue to sleep training your toddler, there is so much to know, so much to learn. And, you can only spend, if you're newly expecting, 15 minutes in the doctor's office, you're not going to learn what you need to learn. And so one of the things we wanted to do was to provide a level of detailed instruction, working with subject matter experts, medical professionals who are dealing in maternity and infant care fields, and put together a very large course. The course in its entirety is a 10-module course with 44 lessons. And so what we did is we made the course available in its entirety, but then we also kind of split it into prenatal and postpartum lessons. So the first 5 modules of the course are all related to the prenatal journey. The modules 6 through 10 are all about the postpartum journey. And so what we did is we wanted to make the content accessible, the instruction accessible to people wherever they were on their parenting journey. There may be those that are newly pregnant. They just want to know about, what's ahead for me with my pregnancy. What is my, hospital visit going to look like? Tell me about, labor and delivery and childbirth. And then there are those that want to learn about, okay, after I've delivered, feeding my baby, sleep training my baby, introducing the newborn to, their siblings and the family dog, and how do I hire help, get the help that I need. So this course is very broad, but we also have in many different formats. So we have slide presentations, we have written transcripts, verbatim transcripts, we have audio files, podcasts. We have interviews with other health practitioners. We've got some very interesting interviews with therapists that talk about postpartum depression. We have videos with experts that talk about breastfeeding and ensuring that your newborn is getting the nutrition that they need. There's a video in there. It's kind of a cautionary tale about breastfeeding and ensuring that your baby is well nourished, and what signs to look for, how to outfit your nursery, the types of products that you need to purchase. It is just this beautiful, beautiful resource for people. And so what we did is we have all 10 modules are available together. You could buy 1 through 5, 6 through 10, but we also have standalone modules so you can buy just one module, one about pregnancy, the one about feeding, and the one about sleep training, because those are the 3 most critical, topics that people want to know. They want to make sure that, they understand what's happening with their pregnancy, the development of the baby, overcoming morning sickness, all those things. And that's in the pregnancy module. And of course, then feeding your baby. So that we have a whole module about breastfeeding, but it also includes formula and bottle feeding, how to do that, how to measure, understand how much your baby is consuming. And then of course, sleeping, which is critically important because it's not just about sleep training your infant. It's about ensuring that everybody in the household is getting healthy sleep. And then goes into detail about how to hire help, what to look for if you're looking for a nanny or a caregiver. So there's something here for everybody. And it's one of our capstone courses we're very proud of.
I can't help but to notice that, what a great testimonial. Babies do not come home with instructional material. So I'm glad you put something together here.
Absolutely. You could, and I'll tell you, we talk about this in the course that there you could read books all day long and, but we even have demonstration videos in here where we have actual, maternity nurses like literally demonstrate how to diaper, not just a boy, but how to diaper an infant girl, how to bathe them, how to swaddle them. I mean, these are hands-on demonstrations. So it's jam-packed with real, with meaningful information that you can do today. So I love that. And I just love that course.
And Deb, tell us who should be getting this course.
Okay, so these are, this is for people that either are maybe they're of childbearing age. They think that, they're looking to maybe expand their family. So if they're thinking about starting a family, this is a great resource. For those who are already expecting or on the journey, there's something here for wherever you are on the journey, either pre-delivery or post-delivery. It's also a great resource for new and expectant grandparents. So, because and for many that are in the grandparent demographic, it's been a long time, right, since you had, a newborn. So, and a lot of things have changed, certainly, as years go by. So it's a great resource for those that are expecting to expect, those that are new and currently in expecting and planning on delivery, post-delivery, and then potential grandparents as well.
Wonderful. I see you had a FAQ section here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the frequently asked questions, that's a good one. So how long do we have access to the course material?
Absolutely. So when for any of the courses, actually, they are available to you indefinitely. So you purchase the course once, and you have access to that course indefinitely. And what will happen over time is that the course creators, the content experts, will update their courses as new materials become available. They'll add lessons to their course. But you buy the course one time, there's a lifetime value there. So, so there is, so you're always getting the most current information, and because you're part of that community. And so we want to make sure people have access to the information. And the thing that's beautiful about the pregnancy course is that, and what we find is that there may be people that purchase the course for their expecting their first baby, but then they come back to the materials when they're expecting their second and refresh the materials, and by then the creators will have added new lessons. So the content is always relevant, it's timely, and it's evergreen, as we call it.
Wonderful. I wish I had those instructional materials
Me too.
when I had my first baby. But folks, there is more. So let's go back to our page here. So Deb, you prepared a surprise here, the ticket booth of
I did.
and you make this free. It's a gift for everybody. So share a little bit about this course.
Absolutely. This was interesting that when this kind of came to be when we were planning our first conference, VC Latinx, earlier this year, and really focused on entrepreneurs and providing business health and wellness education and training. And so for entrepreneurs, and there are millions of entrepreneurs joining the ranks of business ownership every minute of every day. And so and so we sort of use this metaphor of a roller coaster, thinking that there's so many ups and downs on this journey of business ownership, that there are very high highs and low lows, and in many cases we're moving very quickly, and sometimes we're upside down, and we don't know what's around the corner. So there's this metaphor here, and so I recorded this podcast about that journey, that everybody starts somewhere, right? So there's a spark to be a business owner, to be an entrepreneur. There's a spark, a fire in your belly where you want to do this, or something that you want to do, start a business. And what was that spark? So we talk about that. I share a little bit about my spark and how I got to be, a business owner, and why what I'm doing is helping other business owners, and what was that spark for me. And then we talk about that roller coaster and the ups and downs. And we talk a lot about fear too, because it's the fear of the unknown, right? And sometimes you're going really fast and you're upside down and you're, in the dark, and sometimes you can't breathe. You've got, there's a lot of pressures that come from being a business owner. And so we talk about that. But then we talk about, and so that's kind of the dark side of entrepreneurship, upside down and in the dark. But then you have breakthroughs, and you get traction, and you get your clients, and you start to generate revenue, and your hands go in the air, like you're on a roller coaster ride, where your hands go in the air and you're starting to enjoy the ride that you're on. And then the final step is, what's the next ticket that you're going to buy for the next, the next ride that you want to take? What does your future look like? What does that future journey look like? And so it's just this really interesting, point of view of an entrepreneur, the journey that you're on, just sharing some stories and some thoughts for people to be mindful of, because there are ups and downs. But in the spirit of what the work that we're doing, certainly with the conferences, with, you need to arm yourself with education. You need to build your skills through training. You need to find, your support system, your coaching community, and the community of other entrepreneurs. When we host our conferences, we have people from all over the world. I think, we had people in our last conference, VC EuropeX, from 46 different countries. These are people that are, are entrepreneurs themselves all over the world, and they're on their journey. And so we're all learning from each other. We're all benefiting from each other. And that's what I love about the work that we're doing together, Ram, is that we're bringing these experts who are so willing and generous to share their knowledge and teach and educate. But you're not alone. And I think that there's a big message there, is that you can find your community and get the education you need. Your entrepreneur ride will be a good one.
What a wonderful gift, and thank you so much, Deb. Folks, you
Sure.
can't miss this free course. It seems we had a wonderful conversation today. Thank you so much for your time today. Folks, we're really just scratching the surface here. We can certainly continue this conversation, but I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Again, our guest today, Deb Dietz, is the star of Ask Deb About Business. You can watch her every other Thursday, 11 a.m. Central via Futures Television on Apple TV and on Roku TV. You can also watch Ask Deb About Health on demand 24/7 via Futures Network.tv on Roku TV, Apple iPhones, and any Android phone via Google Play, and online using any connected device via Futures Network.tv. In addition to that, she's working hard on bringing VC APAX, a free online event focusing on women and minority entrepreneurs. We'll find the link to VC APAX on the description section of this video. And soon, Deb will be bringing her awesome content to the metaverse via Futures Network.tv on the Oculus. So please stay tuned. Deb, thank you so
Thank
much
you, pleasure
for
being here.
for your time today. As always, wonderful to see you. And folks, by the way, feel free to continue to submit your comments and questions on our YouTube page. I will make sure to read and present it or them to Deb and the other questions you might have. If you're listening to us via podcast or watching this show as a recording via Futures Television, you too can be part of the conversation. Again, just visit our YouTube channel and leave a comment. Please don't forget to share and like this video, and please do subscribe to our channel. I am counting on you. Again, thank you so much for your presence and participation in the show today. You can always reach out to the magazine or to me, the host, via Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here with us again, and I will see you in our next show. I will leave you with our institutional message. Thank you.